Okay, get this. Someone sent us, like, this text exchange they saw, and it was about the Riemann hypothesis, right?
Okay.
But get this, they saw, like, I don't know, some visual representation of it, and they were like, looks like a zero to me, lol.
Huh, interesting.
Right. And I was like, you know what? They're not wrong. So that's what we're diving into today.
I love it. It's amazing how something so simple can, like, open the door to this whole incredibly complex idea.
I know. It's kind of perfect for a deep dive, right? So, Riemann hypothesis. We got to start with this thing called the Riemann zeta function. And don't worry, you don't need like a math degree for this.
It sounds very intimidating, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. So, how do you usually explain this one?
Well, you can think of it like a machine.
Yeah.
Right? You put something into this machine. The machine, it whirs and beeps, does its thing, and then spits something out. So with the Riemann zeta function, you put in a number, and then it does this calculation, and then spits out another number.
It's like a mathematical machine, but what kind of numbers are we feeding into this thing?
We're putting in something called complex numbers.
Complex. Okay, yeah. I knew this was coming. So for people who, like me, maybe forgot what a complex number is.
So imagine your regular number line, going left and right. With complex numbers, our number line, it also goes up and down.
What?
So it's like a two-dimensional map of numbers.
Okay.
And that is the complex plane.
Okay, so there's a whole plane, like a whole other dimension of numbers happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this function, it helps us understand what happens to those numbers, those complex numbers, when we plug them into this function machine.
Okay, all right. I think I'm with you so far. We've got this machine, puts out numbers, but the input is like on another level. So where do these zeros come in, like the listener mentioned?
Right. So remember how we said the function spits out a number? Well, sometimes it spits out a zero. And the really interesting part is that these zeros, they're not just random. They form a pattern on that 2D map we were talking about.
Hold on, a pattern. Okay, this is already getting cool. I like where this is going.
This is where Riemann comes in with his hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
He basically said that all the non-trivial zeros, which are, special types of zero.
Of course, they're special zeros again. Special zeros.
Those ones, they line up perfectly on a vertical line on that complex plane map.
So if we could actually see this, it'd be like all these zeros, just like in a straight line.
Exactly. It's like finding this hidden order in what seems like chaos. And that's what's so fascinating about it.
That's wild. Okay, I have to ask, though, why do mathematicians care so much? Like, why are these zeros so important? What do they do?
Okay, so prime numbers, right?
Prime numbers, yeah, those are like the numbers that are only divisible by one in themselves, like
Yeah.
2, 3, 5, 7.
Exactly. They can't be broken down any further. They're like the building blocks of all other numbers.
Right.
And they're super important in a lot of different fields, like crazy important. And the placement of these zeros, that pattern, it might actually tell us something fundamental about how prime numbers work.
So if we crack the code of these zeros, it's like the holy grail for some mathematicians.
Pretty much. It would be huge.
Yeah.
Think about cryptography, which is how we keep all of our online information secure.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is important for way more than just, like, theoretical math.
Absolutely. It has real-world implications.
So much going on here. Okay, so to recap, because I even lost track for a second, the Riemann hypothesis is about the zeros of this function, this machine, and that function lives on this whole other map of numbers I'd forgotten about.
The complex plane?
Yes. And if it turns out to be true that all those special zeros really do line up, then we'd understand prime numbers way better. And like you said, that could change a lot of things.
Exactly. And here's the best part. It's still unsolved.
No way. So someone listening out there, maybe they can solve it.
It's true. It makes you wonder what other mathematical mysteries are out there just waiting to be unraveled, doesn't it?
I know. On that note, we'll leave it there. This has been a wild one.